Hey everybody, welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQ&AV, and as always, NoDQ.com, your source for the very latest regarding the Royal Rumble, which is this Sunday, Royal Rumble week here on NoDQ.com. You can stay tuned to NoDQ.com and get all the latest news and rumors regarding the Rumble. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions. This first one comes from Dead Man Kane. Hey Aaron, why do so many people hate Zack Ryder now? I have been on a few wrestling sites and pretty much everyone was bashing him. Didn't the internet fans like him last year? What happened? Also, with the end of his web show, will Zack Ryder get released? Yeah, everyone loved Zack Ryder last year, and some people could say he was a flavor of the month or flavor of 6 months, whatever. The fact is, he was red hot, and then WWE failed to capitalize on it. You know, they put him into that feud with Kane, and Kane just destroyed him. And then, you know, the whole thing at WrestleMania with Eve turning on him. You know, WWE did everything they could to make Zack Ryder come off like a goof. Now, is it Zack Ryder's fault? Is it WWE's fault? I think it's a mix of both. You know, WWE certainly could have done a whole lot more with him, but as I mentioned in a lot of videos on NoDQ&A video, you know, I really felt that Zack Ryder needed to evolve the character. You know, that whole the Guido gimmick and doing all the wearing the headband and the glasses and all that stuff. You know, it's only going to get him so far. If he wants to be a main event superstar, he's going to need to change up the character and have a more serious attitude and tone with his character. And that just didn't happen. You know, he just keeps doing the songs and the lip syncing. You know, it's very funny and entertaining, but it's not. It's mid card. It's not something that is going to be taken really seriously. So that's the problem with Zack Ryder. Now the show is over. I suppose you know. I think all it takes is to have Zack Ryder come out and just, you know, do a CM Punk like pipe bomb. Let him come out and just drop the gimmick and just you know, rip into management. Let him become a rebel. And then let him have a new beginning for his character. You could reinvent Zack Ryder, and that could be the beginning of bigger things for him. But yeah, I mean, certainly all the momentum he had is pretty much gone at this point. And like I said, part of it his fault, but certainly WWE could have done a lot more with him. This one comes from Joe Matos5264. Hey Aaron, love the show. Please answer in video. Do you think Eve will ever return, and do you think Ric Flair will make one more match, or he will be GM? Regarding Eve returning, I think it's unlikely. Most divas that leave WWE don't end up coming back. There are a few exceptions, you know, like Trish Stratus and Lita, but Eve wasn't a top-level diva, so I would be surprised if she ends up coming back. Maybe she'll come back down the line for a Raw anniversary show or a special edition of Raw, but besides that, I think we've seen the last of Eve. You know, she's not like a Trish Stratus or Lita, one of the top tier divas. So I think that you know, she's more like a Tori Wilson, someone who had her run and then she's gone and that's it. As far as Ric Flair having one more match in WWE, don't think it will happen. A year ago, I didn't think it was going to happen, and especially now, you know, after the Jerry Lawler heart attack, I don't think WWE is going to risk him. They're not going to kill their stipulation, and they're not going to have him risk him, you know, dying in the ring. So don't think he'll be wrestling again. Being general manager again, that makes perfect sense. You know, something for Ric Flair to do, and you know, the Vicky thing is played out. I'd love to see Ric Flair be a GM and or you know, at least manage somebody. I'd love to see Ric Flair mentor somebody who's an up and comer. So there is something you can do with Ric Flair, I think, to help him put over new talent or whatever. So hopefully we haven't seen the last of Flair, and I don't think we have. All right, this one comes from Nico Turi 56018. Do you think CM Punk will drop the title to Rock on Monday? I don't think he should, because Rock isn't going to be able to stick around like Punk will. Also, I believe it would be awesome to see Punk win at the Royal Rumble and go on to face Taker at WrestleMania Streak versus Streak. Well, first of all, the idea of CM Punk beating The Rock and then a rematch on Raw the next night, I don't see that happening. And if The Rock was to beat Punk and they have a rematch on Raw, I don't think that'll happen either, for two reasons. First reason is you don't want to have The Rock wrestling on Raw. You want to save The Rock for the pay-per-views, make people pay to see something special, and same thing with the title. You really don't want to have title changes on Raw if you can help it. The only way I could see something like that happening with a title changing hands on Raw would be if WWE felt really desperate to pop a rating, and I just don't think that they're going to do that. It could happen, but I think it's unlikely. I think that WWE is going to stick to their plan with what they're going to do for the Rumble, and then Elimination Chamber, and then WrestleMania. I don't see a title change on Raw. Greetings, Aaron. Do you think the new stip for the CM Punk versus Rock match is WWE's way of not putting the title on Rock into Elimination Chamber? Vince said he would strip Punk, but never said Rock would then be champ. Well, what I got out of Raw is that if CM Punk has outside interference, like the Shield coming down and getting involved, that Rock would win the title via the stipulation. That's what I'm assuming. Now, I suppose Shield could interfere and Punk could lose, and then the title would be vacated, and then it would be determined at Elimination Chamber who would be champion. I suppose that could happen, but I don't think that that would go over very well with the audience. I think that would be a bad idea to do that. Fans are buying Royal Rumble to see a decisive finish. They want to see a clear-cut winner. So yeah, I think the whole point of the stipulation, announcing that the Shield will not get involved would be, I think the point of it is that WWE wants to make it clear that there's going to be a decisive winner this Sunday at the Rumble, because I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there that are going to be thinking, why should I buy the Royal Rumble if the Shield's just going to interfere and it's going to be a screwy finish? I think that this is WWE's way of telling the people, you buy the pay-per-view, you're going to see a decisive winner. So that's just my thoughts on the situation, but who knows what's going to happen. I mean, that's what makes the Royal Rumble exciting. You really don't know what's going to happen and what the finish is going to be. And on NoDQ.com, I had a poll who's going to win CM Punk versus The Rock. I was really surprised at how close it was. I thought that The Rock would win by a landslide, but it's pretty much 50-50. So that really surprised me, and I think that that's a good sign for the Rumble. If you can't really predict what's going to happen, you're going to have more people buying the pay-per-view when they can't determine who's going to win, and there's a lot of intrigue what's going to happen. I think that WWE's done a great job, so I do think Royal Rumble will be a huge success. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. It's Royal Rumble week on NoDQ, so we got a whole lot of news and rumors up on the site. Make sure you stop by, and I'll see you next time for more NoDQ&A video.